Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Question number 2. Ishtaraytu mitraini waraqan. Huna waraqan tamyizun. So as we know that in this lesson we have learned about tamyiz, and we know that it's an indefinite noun and generally it is mansub. So when we say ishtaraytu mitraini, when you say I bought 2 meters, and now after that there is a bit of confusion or something that is not clear, ambiguity. So when you say ishtaraytu mitraini waraqan, then that ambiguity is clear now, and you say that I bought 2 meters of page. And huna, here, waraqan tamyizun. Waraqan is tamyiz. Now let's see the definition of this in Arabic. At-tamyizu ismun nakiratun. So first of all, we can see that it is an indefinite noun, mutadammanun ma'na min, or mutadamminun ma'na min, and it contains the meaning of min. So basically, it's an indefinite noun, that's number one. And number two, it contains the mana of min. Libyani ma qablahu, to describe what comes before it. Min ijmalin, from a point of view or from something that is, or something briefly, like min ijmalin, in a brief manner, I should say. So anything that comes before it, it is used to summarize it, or it is used to give a brief meaning about it, so that the ambiguity is the ambiguity that we have becomes clear. Nahwu, for example, indi mitrun hariran. So when you say indi mitrun, I have a meter, and hariran, when you say I have a meter of silk, then that ambiguity is clear. And this is what it tells us, that libyani ma qablahu min ijmalin, yani it briefly tells us about something before it, and hariran is a brief explanation of what we have before it. And before this we have meter, and we don't know what meter is this, but when we say hariran, then it is clear that you are talking about silk. Hasuna hamidun khuluqan. Hamid is good with regards to manners. So now we are talking about Hamid. So when we say Hasuna Hamidun, Hamid is good. So it can be, we can say like Sautan, his voice is good, or we can say Wajhan, his face is good. But when we say Hasuna Hamidun Khuluqan, now it is clear that we are talking about the manners of Hamid, and we say Hamid is good with regard to manners. فَتَقْدِيرُ الْجُمْلَتَيْنِ, and basically the hidden meaning of these two sentences is عِنْدِي مِتْرٌ مِنْ حَرِيرٍ. So that's what the meaning of tamyiz is, that معنى متضمن معنى min, that it contains the meaning of min. So basically when you say عِنْدِي مِتْرٌ حَرِيرًا, it basically means عِنْدِي مِتْرٌ مِنْ حَرِيرٍ. That means I have a meter of silk. And similarly you say Hasuna Hamidun. So when we say Hamid is good, min jihati, from the side or from the direction, khuluqihi, of his manners. So now we can see that the real meaning is that Hasan is good in the direction or from the side of manners. But generally when we talk about tamyiz, then min is omitted, and that's why we can see that it is mansub, as we can see here, and also we can see over here. At-tamyizu naw'ani. Now we can see that it has two we can say kinds. For the first one is tamyizu dhati. This is basically, we can say, the tamyiz of object, and this comes after words denoting quantity. And there are 4 kinds of quantity. So basically it comes after words, or basically these are the words and not complete sentences. So that's very, very important to know, that tamyiz that is basically, it is word and not a complete sentence. Then we have tamyiz nisbah, and nisbah is basically proportion. So it is used to specify and define an indeterminate idea contained in the whole sentence. So the main difference is, as we can see over here, that this one clears the ambiguity of the whole sentence. Very, very important. This is tamyiz nisbah. And when we talk about tamyiz tamyiz the zat, then it comes about the words, as we can see over here. So this is word, and as we call this is tamyiz of object, and this is tamyiz of proportion. Now let's talk about tamyiz that, and huwa al-waqi'u ba'd al-maqadir, and it comes after the quantity. Wal-maqadiru arba'atu anwa'in, and quantity is of 4 types. As we can see that miqdarun, and the plural of miqdarun is maqadiru mamnuun min as-sarf. Al-adadu, so the first one is number. Al-adadu. Nahwu, for example, Ya abati inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaban. So in Surah Yusuf, Yusuf alayhi salam says, "Oh my father, I saw in a dream 11 stars." So now we can see that ahada ashara is number, and after that we have the tamyiz, which is kawkaban. Kam kitaban qara'ata, how many books did you read? And also we have learned about kam, that after kam, the noun is mansub, the noun is singular, and the noun is indefinite. So it's clear now that after kam we can also have tamyiz as well. We can say kam waladan lak, kam bintan lak. So after that the noun is singular, and also the noun is mansub. So the first thing that we can see over here is adad. Number 2 is al-mamsuhat, and masahatun, and the plural is mamsuhatun. This is linear measurement. So basically this is measurement. For example, nahwu indi dhira'un ardan, I have a dhira', which is an arm's length. I have dhira'u ardan, yani I have an arm's length of land. And this is linear measurement that we can see over here. Then we have al-makilatu, and this is a plural of makilun, and makil is basically to measure something, and makilat is a plural. We have mikyalun. Mikyalun is to measure, and makilun means something that is measured. So there is a difference. Mikyal is measuring, and makil is something that is measured. So that's why we call it al-makilatu. For nahwu, for example, a'taytuhu sa'an tamran. I gave him sa' of tamran. We know that these are basically ancient, ways of measurement that were used in the past. Then we have al-mawzunatu, mawzun, as we know that wazana yazinu, and then we have wazinun, and then we have mawzunun, something that is weighed. So the plural is mawzunat, measurement of weight. Nahu indaka ritlun samanan. Again, ritlun is an ancient way of measurement. So we say ritlun samanan. Samanan can be oil, or it can be butter in the form of oil. So do you have a ritl of oil or butter that is in the form of we say sa'il, that is in the form of liquid? So it is adad, and it is mamsuhat wal makilat wal mawzunat. So 4 things that we need to remember: number, weight, then we have measurement in the form of capacity and volume, and then we have measurement that is linear measurement. So the 4 things are tamyizu that. وَيُلْحَقُ بِهِ الدَّالُ عَلَى مَا يُشْبِهُ الْمِقْدَارُ. وَيُلْحَقُ بِهِ, and it is attached to a dalu. Dalla yadullu dalalatan, to something that signifies, and this is not the letter dal, basically it is ad-dalu, and we have learned a hadith, ad-dalu ala khairin kafa'ilihi, the person who guides others to goodness is the one as if he is doing it. So وَيُلْحَقُ بِهِ الدَّالُ عَلَى مَا يُشْبِهُ. Ashbaha yushbihu, ishbahan is to resemble, al-miqdara, so something that resembles quantity. And nahwu, for example, so words resembling words of quantity also take tamyiz. So the words that resemble words of quantity, they also take tamyiz. And this is also, like, we can say that these are the deputies of tamyiz, right? Like we have learned in the previous lessons that there are certain nouns and they have their deputies. Similarly, we can see that tamyiz has its deputies as well. And what are those? Number 1, for example, we say ma fi samai qadru rahatin sahaban. Now we can see that qadru rahatin is basically something the size of the palm of the hand. So basically what we are saying, there is not in the sky a piece of cloud the size of a palm of the hand. So here the word qadru rahatin, the size of the palm, resembles word denoting linear measurement. Then we have, you say, indi jarratun ma'an, I have a jar of water. And when you say in the jaratun man, again, that you are talking about something which is the size of a jar. Then you say uridu kisan daqiqan. You say that I want a sack of flour or a bag of flour, a flour, sorry. So kisan, again, we can see that it resembles the words denoting measure of capacity. So in uridu kisan daqiqan, I want a bag of flour. And then we have in the Quran, فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرٍ يَرَهُ. So now we can see over here that mithqal dharratin, whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it. So here the word mithqal dharratin, atom's weight, resembles words denoting weight. So there is also a possibility, as we have seen over here, that there are some certain words that resemble the words of quantity, and they can also come before tamyiz. Hukmuhu, its ruling is, so what's the ruling of the tamyiz? We know that generally it is mansub, right? Tamyiz, it comes in the category of mansubat. So generally it is mansub. Yajuzu nasbuhu, we know that it is permissible or possible for it to be mansub. Nahwu, indi mitrun hariran, I have a meter of silk. So now we can see over here that generally it is mansub. Wa yajuzu jarruhu, however, it is possible for it to be majroor. How? Bimin, with the preposition of min. Nahwu indi mitrun min haririn, I have a meter of silk. So we can see over here that it is possible to be majroor. However, it has to be majroor with the preposition of min. However, we will say that this is mansub, but there is a possibility that it can be majroor in two ways. Number one, it can be majroor with harfi jar min, kama yajuzu jarruhu bil idafati, and number two, that it can be majroor with mudaf, to be mudaf ilayh, or in the idafa construction. Nahwu indi mitru haririn, I have a meter of silk. So we can see over here, mitru haririn is mudaf ilayh. So it's possible to be majroor, as we can see over here. Either it can be majroor with the preposition min, or it can be majroor as idafa construction, mudaf ilayh. وقد يضاف الدال على المقدار إلى غير تمييز. And sometimes, as we know that qad, when it comes with the present tense, it gives the meaning of sometimes. Yudafu, we know that adafa yudifu, to add something, and then we have udifa yudafu. So this is basically passive of the present tense. وقد يضاف الدال, and sometimes the signifier is added to it, على المقدار, to the quantity, إلى غير تمييز, without the tamyiz. For example, ما في السماء قدر راحة سحابا, we have seen this example before, that there is not in the sky a piece of cloud the size of the palm of a hand. And then when we see the example from the Quran, inshallah, it will be clearer. فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمْ مِلْءُ الْأَرْضِ ذَهَبًا. Never would the whole capacity of the earth in gold be accepted from one of them, from the non-Muslims. So we can see over here, مِلْءُ الْأَرْضِ. Mala'a yamla'u, as we know, to fill something, and then mil'u is basically the masdar of mala'a yamla'u, and mil'u al-ardi, yani the capacity of the earth. So the non-Muslims on the Day of Judgment, even if they offer something, even if they offer gold on the Day of Judgment, which is the capacity of the earth, it will not be accepted from them. And we know that lan is used with the mudari, and it is used for powerful negation, that never ever will be accepted from them, as we can see over here. Never would the whole capacity of the earth in gold be accepted from one of them. And then we have the hadith, which is mil'u kafin min damin, and it has the same meaning, similar to this, that even if it is a handful of blood, it will not be accepted. Mil'u kafin. Kaf is basically the palm of the hand, which includes fingers, including fingers. Whereas the rahatun, as we can see here, rahatun is also the palm, but it's only the palm without the fingers. But when we talk about kaf, that means the whole palm, including the fingers. So the palm of the hand full of blood, min damin, as we can see here, and it is from Al-Bukhari, from the hadith of Al-Bukhari, I mean. Then we have tamyiz al-nisbah, proportion. So the first we have seen that, which is basically object, and now we have the tamyiz of proportion. Huwa ma fassara yufassiru tafsiran is to explain, and that's why we have the tafsir al-Quran, something that has been explained in detail. So huwa ma fassara jumlatan mubhamatan nisbati. So a sentence which is ambiguous, nisbati in the form of proportion. So a sentence that is proportionally ambiguous, for that tamyiz or nisba is used. And if you remember, we have discussed that for tamyiz or that, we have one word, and for tamyiz or nisba, we have the complete sentence, as we can see over here. And what kind of sentence is this? Jumlatun mubhabatan nisbati, a sentence that is ambiguous in the form of proportion, yani proportionally ambiguous sentence. So it has to be a complete sentence. Nahwu, for example, we say, Hasuna hadha talibu khuluqan. This student is good with regards to manners. So now here, Hasuna hadha talibu khuluqan, this is a complete sentence. And here, khuluqan is basically clarifying the ambiguity of about the student. When we say Hasuna hadha talibu, this student is good. And again, we have seen that he can be good with respect to his wise, like sautan or wajhan, and similarly it can be khuluqan. So khuluqan here clarifies the ambiguity of the whole sentence. فإن نسبة الحسن إلى الطالب مبهمة. As we can see over here, that the association of the student towards beauty is vague, is unclear. And تحتمل أمورا كثيرة, and it consists of lots of affairs, lots of things. فجاء تمييز, and that's why there is تمييز خلقا that has been used over here. لإزالة أزال يزيل إزالة is to remove هذا الإبهام, this ambiguity. So here the تمييز خلقا has been used to clear this ambiguity. من تمييز النسبة ما كان أصله فاعلا, and it can be fa'il, it can be the doer of the action. نحو حسن الطالب خلقا. So here we can see الطالب is the doer of the action, and after that we have تمييز تقديره حسن خلق الطالب, يعني the student is the student's manners are good. The student's manners are good. So it's possible in two ways. It can be حسن الطالب خلقا, and also حسن خلق الطالب. The meaning will be the same. ومنه ما كان أصله مفعولا, and also it can be object. So it can be subject, fa'ilan, and also it can be the object, as we can see over here in the Quran. وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا, and we caused the earth to burst forth with springs. So وَفَجَّرْنَا, فَجَّرَ يُفَجِّرُ تَفْجِيرًا, fail plus fa'il, and al-arda is maf'ul bihi. So we can see that tamyiz can be fa'il, as we can see over here, and also the word that is being used as tamyiz, and the noun that is being used as tamyiz, it can be also maf'ul bihi. فَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا تَقْدِيرُهُ فَجَّرْنَا عُيُونَ الْأَرْضِ, and it is also possible to say فَجَّرْنَا عُيُونَ الْأَرْضِ. Okay, now one thing that I would like to tell you over here. Here we have al-arda and uyunan. So the word or the noun that is used before, that is called mumayyaz. What do we call that? Mumayyaz. So it's mayyaza, yumayyizu, tamyizan, and we know that mumayyaz, as we know that it is maf'ul bihi. So the word that comes before tamyiz is called mumayyaz, and tamyiz is called mumayyiz. What do we call it? Mumayyiz. So this is mumayyaz, and what is this? This is mumayyiz. So that is the small difference that we need to know. And since you're learning the language, I'm sure we need to know these things, like these istilahat, as we say. We need to know these definitions in order to understand things properly. So here, hasuna talibu, talib is what? Mumayyiz. And khuluqan, what is this? This is mumayyiz. So what is mumayyiz? Something that clarifies the ambiguity. What is mumayyiz? Something that is ambiguous, something that is not clear. حكمه أنه منصوب ولا يجوز جره, and as we know that tamyiz is always mansub, and it is not possible for this to be majroor. فيه تفصيل ستدرسه فيما بعد إن شاء الله, and there are more details about it which you will learn with the passage of time. استخرج ما في الدرس من أمثلة التمييز واذكر نوع كل واحد منها. So we have during the lesson we have discussed everything in detail, and inshallah if you would like to know more about it, you can refer back to the lesson. Now, question number 4 is عين التمييز فيما يلي. Now we have to specify the tamyiz in the following sentences. واذكر نوعه, and we have to mention its type, like what type is this? أنا أكبر منك سنا. I am bigger than you in age. All right, so is this a that, or is this, as we have seen, a nisbah? A that, as we know, is it number, weight, and measurement and capacity.
Number is good.
Okay, so that means it is a nisbah. أنا أكبر منك سنا. I am bigger than you in age. اشتري كيلوغراما سكرا ولترين لبنا. Buy 1 kilo of sugar and 2 liters of milk.
Capacity is good.
It's weight, yeah. So we have weight, yeah. So whenever we have weight and we have measurement, so it will be that. Okay, قرأت 20 صفحة. I read 20 pages.
Numbers is good.
Okay, so it will be that. Excellent. Number or adad, perfect. So whenever we have 4 things, we have number or weight or measurement or capacity or volume. So that means it will be that. Otherwise, it will be nisbah. طاب المدرس نفسا. Yes, what about this one?
Nisbah, sir.
Ahsanti, yes. The student is good, or the teacher is good in or the student is well behaved, or the teacher is good. So taba yatibu basically means to be good, and nafsan to himself or something that relates to the person. So when we say taba yatibu, to be good or pleasant, so the teacher is very cheerful or very pleasant. غرست البلدية الشوارع شجرا. The municipality planted trees in the streets.
Adab is good. Number.
Where is the number?
Sorry.
How many?
Shawari.
Okay.
Plural.
Of Sharion, okay. But do we have any specific number over there?
No.
It's the whole sentence. So when we talk about the whole sentence, then we say that this is tamyiz nisbah, which is the whole sentence. And also we have to have specific number or weight or measurement. So here, غرست البلدية والشوارع شجرا, they planted the trees in the streets, okay, the municipality. But here we are talking about the whole sentence, and we are not talking about something specific. من قال سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم غرست له نخلة في الجنة. The hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whoever says subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanallah al-azim, nakhla is planted for him, palm tree is planted for him in Jannah. Subhanallah. So from that I remember this gharasa yaghrusu is to plant the tree. Okay. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حُكْمًا. But who is better than Allah in judgment of a people who are certain in faith? We don't have weight, we don't have number, we don't have any measurement, right? So it will be a nisbah. Okay, excellent. كالذين من قبلكم كانوا أشد منكم قوة وأكثر أموالا وأولادا. أشد قوة وأكثر أموالا وأولادا.
Zat ya Ustad.
أشد قوة. Do you think that? Stronger than you in power. So do you have any things which is like number or weight or volume?
Sir, yeah, you can't say. That is the quantity only now, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say we can't.
كالذين من قبلكم كانوا أشد منكم قوة. So they were stronger than you in power. Power is something that can't be counted, right? Something. And also أكثر أموالا وأولادا. So I think these are all tamyiz and nisbah because they are all uncountable. Especially when we talk about أشد منكم قوة, when we talk about the power, of course, it is tamyiz and nisba, right? However, amwal and awlad could be that, and also it is nisba as well. وحسن أولئك رفيقا. What do you think about rafiqan?
That is the nisba, sir.
Nisba, excellent. So that's clearer, but here there is some ambiguity. So inshallah, I believe that this is a nisba. However, we can refer back to the Arab al-Quran that we have basically, if you are able to read that. So inshallah, in Arab al-Quran, we can find whether it is a nisba or it is that. However, what is more important is, alhamdulillah, at least we are able to figure out that this is tamyiz, and that is what we are supposed to focus on. And these things, inshallah, if we go into further details with the passage of time, inshallah, we will come to know. Because وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا, when I was memorizing this verse, Surah Al-Qamar, I was always thinking that it is hal. وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا, we split, or we splitted the earth into springs. But then when I read about it and came to know that it was tamyiz. So that's inshallah, as I said, with the passage of time, we will come to know that whether it is tamyiz or hal. But at the end of the day, we are able to understand that this is a mansub noun and this is tamyiz. Okay, is this clear? أكمل كل جملة مما يأتي بتمييز مناسب. Okay, now we have to complete the sentences with the suitable tamyiz. اشتريت مترا. Okay, 1 meter of, you bought 1 meter of something. So what was that?
حريرا.
حريرا, أحسنتي. Okay. قماشا, حريرا, ورقا. Yeah, so it can be anything. املأ الكوبة, fill the cup. Okay. ماء, لبنا, حليبا, عصيرا, right? So it can be anything that you are talking about. So here we have labanan, but it can be ma'an, it can be asiran, and it can be labanan. Hamidun akthar tullabi. Hamid is the best of the students. Okay, so we can say khuluqan, right? Or nashatan. He's nashat is someone who is active. So he is the most active of all the students. But we can also say Hamidun Akthar Tullabi Khuluqan, that he is the most well-mannered of all the students. Man ahsanukum, who is the best among you? I think it should be Khuluqan, right? Ahsanukum khattan. Okay, so who is the best among you in writing? So man ahsanukum khuluqan, khattan, kitabatan, qira'atan. It depends whatever you're referring to. So it can be any of the things that you would like to mention over here. Uridu ghiraman. I want 1 gram of fidda, which is silver, or dhahab, which is gold. So I think something like, which is like only 1 gram. So I think it can be dhahaban aw fiddatan, right? So uridu ghiraman dhahaban. I want 1 gram of gold, or fiddatan, 1 gram of silver. Indi sa'un burran. I have 1 sa of wheat. اجعل التمييز في هذه الجملة مجرورا بمن مرة. So once we have to make this sentence using min, وبالإضافة مرة أخرى, and for the second time we have to use tamyiz, making it as مضاف مضاف إليه. So we have to make it in 2 ways. Number 1, using min, and number 2, using it in the idafa construction. So we can see here, in the sa'un min burrin, I have 1 sa of wheat, and in the sa'u burrin, I have 1 sa of wheat. So we can see over here that it can be either with min, or it can be as mudaf ilayhi. Sun'un masdara sana'a yasna'u. So we can see that sun'un is the masdar of sana'a yasna'u, wa huwa ala wazni fu'lin, and it's on the pattern of fu'lin. Hati misadir al-af'al al-atiyata ala wazni fu'lin. So now we have to provide the masdar of the words on the pattern of fu'lin. So shariba yashrabu. Yes. So does anyone remember? We have used this verb a lot. Shurbun.
شرب
Excellent. Shurbun. Okay. Shakara yashkuru.
شكر
Shukrun. Shukrun. Excellent. Vadda yawaddu mawaddatan wa. It has two masters. Mhm. I gave you one. I gave you masdar al-mimi. So we have on the same pattern. Shukrun, shurbun, wuddun, right? It will be wuddun. Yeah, okay. So it's basically wudadun, but we know wudadun has changed into wuddun because of assimilation. Zahida, yazhadu, to abstain someone from someone. Yeah, zuhdun, excellent. And sakira, yaskuru, sukran, to be intoxicated. So it will be sukran.
سكر
Yeah, sukran. So we have shurbun, shukrun, wuddun, zuhdun, and sukran. So these are very, very important. As we know that for the verbs that have 3 root letters, they always have a different masdar. But the verbs that are derived forms, they have fixed masdar like if'al, ifti'al, taf'il, mufa'ala. So they are easier to figure out, but these are slightly different. But inshallah, with the passage of time, as we are learning now, we will come to know them as well. للتعجب صيغتان. For exclamation, there are 2 forms. ما أفعله وأفعل به. So the first one is ما أفعله and the second one is أفعل به. Please remember that when we talk about the patterns do not have any meaning. The patterns are only for the purpose of guiding us. It's not definite. It's not necessary that every word like taf'il, if'al, mufa'ala, ma af'alahu, af'il bihi should have any meaning. It's not necessary. So we need to consider this as well, because sometimes we might be thinking like, what's the meaning of ma af'alahu and af'il bihi? So there is no need to bother about the meaning. The only thing we need to know that this is the pattern that we have to follow. For example, ma ajmal sayyarata, how beautiful the car is. And ajmil bis sayyarati, the same thing we have over here, how beautiful the car is, or what a wonderful or what a beautiful car. So we can see here that there are 2 ways of expressing exclamation or ta'ajjub. One is on the pattern of af'alahu and the other is on the pattern of af'il bihi. Fit tanzili, in the Quran we have absir bihi wa asmi'. And we know that it was asmi bihi, and this is the beauty of the Arabic language and the Quran, that sometimes the word is omitted or it is not repeated. How seeing is he and how hearing. So we can see here absir bihi wa asmi'. Then we have asmi' bihim wa absir yawma ya'tunana, how clearly they will hear and see the day they come to us. Fama asbarahum ala nari, how patient they are for that is in pursuit of the fire. So we have asbarahum on the pattern of ma asbara is on the pattern of ma af'ala, and asme bihim absir wa absir, and similarly absir bihi wa asme, they are on the pattern of af'il bihi, as we can see over here. Ta'ajjab, now you have to exclamate. Ta'ajjab mimma ya'ti musta'milan fi'lay. So it was fi'lani, fi'laini, fi'laini, and we know that when it is used as mudaf, then the noon gets dropped. So it was fi'laini, and the noon has been dropped. It is fi'layit ta'ajjubi. So we have 2 fi'l of ta'ajjub and we have to use them. Kathratun nujumi. So we have to use both ma af'alahu and af'il bihi. So it will be ma akthar an-nujuma. Excellent, yes. And akthir bin nujumi. Akthir bin nujumi. Excellent. So the meaning will be the same. Suhulatul lughat al-arabiyyati, Arabic language is very, very easy. So we will say ma ashala, right? Ma ashala al-lughat al-arabiyyata wa ashil bil lughat al-arabiyyati. So please remember that when we use ma ashala, then the noun that follows in the end will be mansub always. And af'il bihi, the noun will be majroor. Ba'du samai, the sky is far away. So we want to say how far the skies are. Ma, yes. As-sama'a, right? Excellent. Perfect. Ma ab'ad as-sama'a, and then it will be ab'id bis-sama'i. And the meaning is the same, how far the skies are. Husnul labani, The milk is good. Yes.
ما أحسن لبن
ما أحسن اللبن. Excellent. Yes. أحسن باللبن. أحسنتي ما شاء الله تبارك الله. Yes. أحسن باللبن. قرب الامتحان. The exam is near. ما أقرب الامتحان. Yes. And أقرب بالامتحان. Excellent. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. So ما أقرب الامتحان and أقرب بالامتحان. And the examples that we have seen from the Quran, the verses of the Quran, inshallah, they will definitely help us. The last exercise, تأمل المثال. Reflect on the example. ثم أدخل ملء. ملأ يملأ ملءا means to fill something. Okay. So ملء في 5 جمل على غراره. So we have to use ملء in 5 sentences on the same pattern. For example, we have أريد ملء كف سكرا. I want a handful of sugar. Because we know ملء means something that is full, and kafin is used for the palm of the hand, which includes the fingers, palm of the hand including fingers. So you say, I need a handful of sugar. So now we need to make 5 sentences based on the same pattern, and I have taken them from the answer key of the Sheikh that they have provided us. So we have here Uridu mil'a kaffi sukkaran. So it was mil'a kaffin, and we have changed into mil'a kaffi, yani my handful of sugar. So Uridu mil'a kaffi sukkaran. I need a handful of sugar. Atini mil'a kaffi burran. Give me a handful of wheat. And then we have akhadtu mil'a kaffi ramlan. I took a handful of sand. Kul mil'a kaffika fustuqan. Eat handful of, or kaffiki, it's both of them are possible, of pistachio. And then we have laysa li mil'a kaffi dhahaban. I wish I had a handful of gold. Intaha darsu bi'awnillahi ta'ala. So this is nothing but the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have completed 30 lessons from this book. And I think we have only 4 left, I guess. So inshallah, we are almost there, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خير.
Wa iyyakum.